right, welcome back to Liberations Publishing, and this is my favorite part of the show when I get to interview one of my authors. And today we have Mr. Frankie Eacholes. Hi, Mr. Frankie.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. I'm so glad to have you on the show today.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. And Mr. Frankie, he has two wonderful books. We're going to start with the first one, even though I want to start with the last one, but we're going to start with his very first book, which is Frankly Speaking. And this is a book of your poetry. And tell us a little bit about what made you write your book of poetry, or even how you wrote the poems and how you came to put them together as a book.
Frankly Speaking is a collection of poems that dated back to when I was in junior high.
Okay.
And it was just a collection that I kept over time. I've always been a person that, I was a quiet person. I always wanted to express myself through drawing or either writing. So
Okay.
that's what I've always done. And the way it came into the book, it calls for one of your other authors, Miss Marjorie Hubbard.
Yes.
And she, ever since that, well, she's my wife's aunt, so I've been in the family for a while, and when she found out I was writing and stuff, she always been on my case about, you know, getting my stuff published and letting people, you know, see my work. So,
Right.
and then one day that we was at a family gathering, and she caught me in the corner, and she, you know, twisted my arm and gave me a number, and here we are.
Yeah, I love Miss Margie, and it was a pleasure doing her books too. She has quite a few children's books. So she's the reason why we actually got connected. Did she give you my contact information?
She did.
Okay, that's what I thought. So Miss Margie just kept at you until you got this book done. And I'm so glad that she did, because you have some really good work in there. And I really have to tell you, he has one poem in there, "'Twas the Night Before Christmas, Ghetto Style." And that poem alone is worth buying the book because it is hilarious. And we actually should be making a book about that poem, you know, because it's so funny, and it could be a book by itself. But there's also a lot of other poems in there that just are still relevant to young people today. You know, they talk about issues that people are facing today, so it's really a great book, a really great read. And what about the young men on your cover? Do you still keep in contact with them, Frankie?
For the most part, I keep in contact with them over Facebook.
Okay.
Got one gentleman that, you know, we bump heads every once in a while. He come by the house, or either we see each other in the street.
Okay. Because I know they were excited about the book too, and you know your family, which your family's on the back of the book with you, and you know you really are inspirational, you know, to young people, and even, you know, your family's so supportive behind everything that you do. They're always there with you, and that's great too, because you really need a lot of support when you're doing anything. You know, you need that support. And then now, Little Nicky's Big Imagination. That was such a wonderful book. Tell us about the story behind that book. Tell us the story behind that book.
Well, with Little Nicky Big Imagination, it's a children's book that I wrote to try to give people an insight on people that are dealing with autism.
Right.
The book was based off the life of my brother, Nicholas Eacholes, who unfortunately passed away a few years back.
Mm-hmm.
What I wanted to do was give people an idea of what the way that he thought, and the way he see the world, and how he coped with the world.
Right.
I wanted people to know that, you know, even though that he's a person that's different, he's not what he thought he was. You know, that person that being not so intelligent or whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
I also wanted people to see that, you know, how to use your mind.
Right.
So to speak.
Right.
How to think and be creative.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but how to not to judge people. Nicky, I always tell people that I always been his, you know, protector, and he always was my teacher of life. He taught me different things as far as, you know, how to not judge people, and how to look on the inside, and you know how guess, show people how you love them more than each other. So,
Right. Right.
so those are the things and the quality that you taught me, and I try to pass it on to other people. And I try to this book as a starter pack, but let people know and look at this situation through a different perspective.
Right. Right. And I think the book really delivered on that, because when I did the book, the things you wrote in there about his imagination and how he was always able to take ordinary things and just entertain himself, entertain others, and even the fact that he had a mind to take, something like a clothes hanger or a piece of paper and make that into something instrumental that he was using, lets you know that he was full of intelligence. He was full of imagination. He was full of life, because he could play. He could create his own world that he shared with you guys. And you saw that happening with him, when he developed all these things, whether he was singing or I think the other thing was the violin and his love for music. So you have to realize just because someone is different or they learn different, it doesn't make them any less than the next person.
Right.
We live in a generation where they want to label everything. Everything has a label, and everything needs a pill to treat it now. You need a pill if you stutter. You need a pill if your child plays too much, when it's just discipline, plays a big factor where you don't have to use those pills all the time. Because I'm just not one for label it and then give it a pill. People, everybody's depressed now, so you're on a pill for depression. You're on a pill to sleep. You're on a pill to wake up, and that's just, it's too much for your body. It's too much for your body. Some things are just, you look at the human body. Myself, I have cycles. I have cycles where I have inspirational times, and then there's times where I don't really be that much inspirational. But they'll say it's bipolar, and I'm like, no, it's just seasons. We're just like seasons, summer, spring, winter, fall. We're not always 100, running at 100. There are times of inspiration, and I think every great person, whether it was a singer or a writer, I think they have those same kinds of cycles, just understanding human beings, period. But this generation, they just want to name it and give it a pill, and the pill does the same thing. It just takes away your emotions. You're just like the living dead, Yeah, you're just a zombie and it makes you sleep. So how's that better?
It's not.
Yeah, it's not at all, and I'm not one for labels, but with Little Nicky's Big Imagination, you really did bring out another side of autism, a child with autism. And when you did your book signing up in Tupelo, you had a great turnout for that.
I did.
Yeah, you really did. And you had a lot of men that were asking you questions about autism. And what were some of the things that they would ask you? Like, can you remember any of the questions that they would ask you? A lot of the fathers.
Some would just ask me what about different levels of autism, which autism does have different levels. Some mild, other more severe than others.
Okay.
Some ask me what I do to how did I cope with it,
Mm-hmm.
because naturally men is overprotective, so a lot of them when they see people try to treat the child so a certain way, they want to stand up and take up for them.
Exactly.
For the most part, being young, back then, I just use brute force most of the time, or whatever.
Yeah.
But up there, I just try to tell them, educate people.
Right. Educating people is going to be the biggest thing, in which your book does that. It lets you know that they're autistic, that does not mean that they don't understand.
Right.
They just have a different way of expressing to you what they know and they understand. And I just don't, I just feel like if that's how they interact in this world, that's how they interact in this world. Who says we all have to interact in this world the same way? You know, like some people like to, like extreme cold. They can be in extreme cold with shorts on all the time. I can't do that, but I can do a lot of heat. You know, I can deal with a lot of heat. But just because I can deal with a lot of heat does not make me abnormal. You know, it's just the way how I interact in this world. And we have to make room for one another and our differences, you know. And I think the world is getting a little better about embracing some differences, but I don't know about this medicine world that wants to give everything a pill, you know, to solve everything, you know. I'm just not for that pill thing, you know, giving that pill for things that when we were kids, it was just let them go outside and run all day.
Let them settle down.
Yeah, let them wear themselves down, you know, but not give them a pill, you know.
For the most part now, they really give them a pill because they don't want to sit down and try to figure them out. They don't want to talk. They don't want to listen, you know. And as you said, they just want to label and give them a pill and go about their business. They think that's a quick fix, but it's not. I mean, he taught me how to explore the inside, inside a person's mind and stuff, and that's how I kind of push on towards others. Just before you make a judgment on this, sit back and just watch them and pay attention to what you do. He'll show you something.
Yeah, and that's it. Just I think with the education world, understanding that if I'm a teacher, you know, the real teacher draws out your abilities. You know, they will draw out how you learn, how you are able to interact and retain information. You know, it's not about making a child memorize something. Anybody can do that. Their parent can make them memorize something. But teaching is a calling. You know, you have to have a gift of teaching. And it seems like that kind of teacher is few and far between nowadays. You know, that teacher that has the gift of teaching, you know, across the board, not just children that think one way, you know. And, you know, it's easy to teach children that are teachable, you know, according to your curriculum or according to how growth and development says that the child should behave and interact at certain ages, you know. But the true teacher is going to really find out how that child interacts in this world so that they can learn and retain that information and be able to use it in life, you know, and apply it in life. And so I was very glad that you did the Little Nikki, and I just said I'm going to make sure that I put on that cover an autism awareness book because I wanted people to understand that this is something that you need, you know, something that you really want to get for brothers and sisters who have autistic siblings, you know, as well as the parent. And I know that this book is very important for your family, you know. So tell us a little bit about that, the story behind that.
But the story behind that, shortly after Nikki passing, that's when I had to come up and get this book, to write the book.
Yeah.
Because his birthday was coming up, and I wanted to write this book and get it to my mom's hand before his birthday come as a remembrance of Nick. Keep him alive, keep his memory alive, and I'd like the person to thank you for getting that done.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, and I know that your mom, Miss Cora, was very excited when she found out that you had put this book together. it really made her happy. And that was a really good thing. That was really good because Miss Cora is also a great writer, and we're hoping to get her published soon. You know, we're trying to wear her down so that we can get some of her work out because she's a very great writer. You have a lot of gifts in your family because you brought 2 cousins to see me last year. What were both of those young men your cousins, or?
One was my cousin, the other was my nephew.
Okay, so it's all in the family, and I'm telling you, they were some kind of writers, awesome writers. Because one of them, his work, when I read it, I was like, this boy did not write this. So I'm on Google trying to type in some of the sentences, trying to see where he copied this from. But actually, he wrote it. But he's how old was he? But he's taking college prep classes.
14 taking college classes.
Yes, 14 taking college prep classes, and you know, I'm like, oh, no wonder you wrote this, because I'm like, I don't even know this stuff. But it's in the family. I'm telling you, he has a line of writers, and we're trying to get them all on board, including Miss Cora. Yes. So we have 2 wonderful books, Frankly Speaking and Little Nicky's Big Imagination. Now, I know that Little Nicky's Big Imagination, there's still some copies in Barnes & Noble Tupelo. So you can go by there and pick up a copy, or you can go online, Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and order the book. It's well worth it, well worth having in your library. All right. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show, Mr. Frankie.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a great day.
These are my brothers. Your love covers a multitude of sins, and it looks beyond all that I did. Your love covers me. Your love doesn't keep records of faults. It doesn't condemn when I fall. Your love covers me.
You too. Thank you. How are you feeling, Nicole? I'm doing great. Had your first sale. How did it feel?
I feel very good. This is a great book. It's really something you really need in your library, because it tells us that we're not here by accident. It doesn't matter the conditions of your birth. It doesn't matter if someone told you that they didn't mean to have you. God had a plan for you to be here and to be in existence. And this book tells you that. That
Definitely.
you are wonderfully designed by a divine mind.
Okay.
You're not here by accident.
Yes, I am.
So no, you're not here by accident.
Exactly.
In a different way for the children, because they all come in a rhyme, so it's easy to remember, and the message gets out. That one. You're by accident. And it's a hard market to penetrate, but that's what he told me to. Right?
Sounds like you're doing pretty well.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I love it.
That's good. All right, if we go out, my kids are home.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Well, that's a blessing.
Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Nicole. So far, how are you doing?
I feel really good. I'm having a very successful day. Great turnout. And it's just a really great thing to be able to share your vision with people. Because whenever you meet someone you don't know, they know a whole lot more always Barnes and Noble is the best. They treat you really nice. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Excuse me. You're welcome. So you're welcome. You deserve it. You deserve it.
Say